The result was that grandfather took Jigyu home and satiated it like that. The other children kept on running the engine, and so did something happen. Is there a cable to teach your parents? Lying on the bed of the forest, Zoe and Zoe were crying. Is this the difference between a topper and a backbencher? This is very fair. It was 2 mornings of the beginning of winter and the sun was about to bite. It was recess time everywhere in the village. Children were having fun, and in the corner of the village Zong Roshui was surrounded by a crowd of children. She was looking like a little princess whom everyone was looking at. But the main hero was the small silver-colored square-shaped box which was in her hand. That was the same song in the same world. I had seen it in the magazine. I had heard that it is very expensive. Many verses have been sung for Zong Roshui. Listen to us quickly. Also, whose songs are there in this? Zong Roshui turned the headphones around his neck with full attitude and pressed the play button. He was a 0 in the lesson, but no one in the whole school could beat him in showing off the cool gadget. Zong Roshui said while searching, this is the Vokmin Tepi, it is of the same model as grandfather. Zong has told someone that he has bought a special one from the French store. This is the only piece of equipment in the entire primary school. I want to sing this Tiang Mimi song of my grandfather. Don't let me smell this, let me come out of this silence, because Chinchin's sister told me that she has to do her reclining function like this, but she did not pay any attention to the fact that behind the basketball pool some greedy eyes were staring at the ruler holding it in her hand. She was in class 6, some school was blessed, and that's where she died. The last time Le-Ting had toileted in his pants was that day. He had been sitting proud in the school for many days since he got his education done, but today that door was not black, and the boy who used to do the pipe was also not there. Only this stupid-looking little girl with money was alone. We all year, why do you watch movies in the video parlor? Brother, this thing is really very precious. Dead Dalio flashed a dirty and dangerous glance in the eyes of this little girl. The revenge of the last barbarity meted to a dog will be taken out on this little spoon. Then sometime Zong Roshui is preparing to go back to the class. Suddenly a boy who wanted to take a tin has stabbed dead Dalio for the 6th time. While talking, he walked with his attitude face and started biting his forearms. Oh, this is our fun. The heart of the young lady started beating with a sigh, but she was not a fool. It was clear after looking up that this person has come to take the pin. The young lady took a step back. You guys, I want to tell you, my friend, the dead Dalio have started living. I hit Roshu's head with the blow of a bull, and after saying this in the middle of the night, stop threatening me. In the name of your grandfather, take out that thing in the bag which is singing songs. We brothers will spend 2 days with this. Roshu said without a second thought that she directly said no to me. She would not have given it to me. Maybe she would have given it to Save Backed, but this promise cannot be given because she is the same. What was the thing that I had specifically asked from him? If this village goes away, then my whole plan will go in the water. Dead Dalio gambled both his spoons. Dead Dalio moved forward and started digging the surface of his garden. I was small in the beginning, but at that time there was something strange inside him, so that he was sharp. Suddenly he embraced the coin of his garden like a small turkey which is saving its eggs. I opened my mouth and bit forcefully straight on Dalios' mouth. A sharp knife came out of the dead Dalios' mouth and went towards the dog. So I hit him and washed him thoroughly. A rain of spiders started falling on young Roshu's stomach. He was in a lot of pain. It was really hurting. Young Roshui had been treated with such kindness since childhood. He had never received such a beating that he had been beaten by crows. Ja nahi kane mine class X section ek. I was sitting on my seat and ran away from the compass. I was drawing. Suddenly my hand got hurt and got broken by the tip of the pencil. I raised my head and glanced at the empty seat next to me. It had been 10 minutes since I started teaching. I looked at the old military scarf tied around my wrist which my uncle had given to young Rochway. It should have taken him only 2 minutes to get the coltunk and 2 minutes to come and go, even if he started seeing ants walking on the road. He should have come back soon. A very strange and full feeling rose up from within my heart. Young Roshov, although he was a little ignorant, but he was very different from the team, especially when I asked him to bring that moment. I kept down my small piece of paper which I used to keep with us. When I walked near the window, my eyes automatically went down towards the ground. The ground was completely empty except for a corner and a bed in the distance. Then it seemed that some bird suddenly came and ran into one of my skins and gave a cool bite to it. I took out a black box of wax that I had dug up from my back. I had made a small toy last night by scrapping an old radio and adding a few frequency oscillating transistors. Well, I was going to use it to drive away Carter's rats, but instead I used it to teach a lesson to the big rats of the school. I ran out of the class with all my might and walked fast straight towards this lonely and golden corner, and at that time the jungle streets were in a very sad state due to beatings, but he had still not opened his doors to anyone. He was going mad with anger. He had not thought that this little boy was going mad with anger. He picked up a stick near me and picked it up in anger. Bastard was asking with love, so he did not give it. I am asking for the last time. Or no, if you don't give me your hand, then you will die. Rise up from your thoughts. Rise up from your thoughts. I looked at the wood. She was trembling because of it, but grandmother had said that the jungle never turns back after losing her family. The jungle men did not burn the 2 young men by grinding them. The branches turned the wood with force. And I was about to hit it right down, so now here is the same thing at that very moment. A very piercing, sudden, excruciating sound, the kind of frequency sound that goes straight into the brain without any color, suddenly burst out right there. The sound was not like any normal noise. It sounded as if needles of thousands of cells were scratching inside the eardrums of one ear. It hit the cylindrical system of the inner ear so badly that it suddenly started itching and felt like vomiting. He touched the dead branches on the ground, held his ears with both his hands, and gave a single blow. But he could not hear the sound of his bark, because only the sound of the electric sound of his blood was going on inside his blood. The whole world started kneading. He started vomiting. It seemed as if his blood would fit due to both his spoons. It was even worse. He was lying on the ground on his knees. White spots were coming out of his mouth. And he was not there. Like the patients of the disease, they were lying on the ground. This was my made coffee machine. It has the same frequency as the gold repeater. Its frequency is heard by almost every person on the planet. This is a very special frequency. The ears of the elders are a little weak, hence they cannot hear it clearly. But for the sensitive ears of the children, it works just like a sonic boom. The zoo rodents also heard the sound. It was also very strange and full. The elephants sang in his ears as if they were singing a lot of honey bees, but because they were also a little far away and they were lying on the ground, a bug was placed on his head, hence he was feeling a little less of his breath. The dead body was spinning in circles on the ground due to pain. Who is it? At the same time, Le-Ting, who was resting inside the stall at the gate of the school, suddenly opened his eyes and stood straight in front of him, and he turned his head right towards the school. These thousands of herds are just noise for humans, but for the dogs whose crazy limits are limited. By this he has seen some scary ghost. He will not touch the honey near me anymore. It was my fault that I did not give him a proper smack. I walked straight and reached him, and there I saw Jiang Rushu still lying curled up on the ground. There were blue and red marks on Jiang Rushu's face. She had bruises right on the lips, but her hands were right above her. As soon as she saw me, Jiang Rushui started crying. Qinchan Bai, I didn't give anything, but I'm still with me. I sat down and he gave us the milk and beef. I looked at a girl who looked like a cow. Seeing the bruises on her body, the gas inside me started to boil back. This gas had also increased since the time when I had lost my voice or some machine had broken. I moved my small hands forward and gently asked the mark on her lips, Jiang, you have become really mad at once. If the things go away, they will become new, but if you feel that something has happened, then you should fix it for me. It would be very difficult for Jiang Ru while crying, she said, but that's what you had to do. I didn't give any answer to her. I stood up from there and looked back and saw him lying on the ground. He was crying like a sheep because of the door. His pants were once again wet from the break. So what do you want to do? Look, it is against the law to tease someone because it is against the law, so stay away from him. Right at that moment, Raw was going to make a person cry. The sound of the sound was heard. Le-Ting was completely covered in dust. He was completely covered in dust while climbing the wall. Blood was still coming out from the marks on his paws. He dug into the ground like a snake in danger. At a single glance he saw the dead warrior whom he had chased away earlier. Le-Ting got angry at the memory of his old enemy. He pounced straight on him and in one fell swoop he jumped. He caught hold of the pant with his teeth, and then with all his strength he threw it at the speed of 55 feet. That dead Dalio stood straight like an old cloth in front of this German shift, and the brown color decorated the wall. Le-Ting was about to attack him again, but I called out, Le-Ting, stop. Le-Ting applied the brakes right there on the same track. He was standing in front of Dalio with his front paws. I did not sleep with it, but I opened its cover completely and took out the magnetic head and amplifier circuit inside it. I used this window, and after mixing it with my old friends on the frequency, I had to make a real signal tracker. After this I held Solric iron in my hand. In the light of the lamp my eyes suddenly looked cool and non-threatening. You guys please look at me, then I will go. But if you teased my wife, rolled her, and most of all stopped me from fucking my father, then be prepared for my gasp in front of her. She was lying outside in her dog's breath. She was cleaning her vagina. Her eyes were looking towards the sky. There was a huge fan rising there, and this time we were fully prepared. The next day she had finished school. I heard that now when also he was worried that he would go in the door due to some poison and had flushed the toilet in the pan. Even after hearing the whistle of boiling water in the house, he would become unconscious. The doctor had told him that the days passed very comfortably and peacefully because of this. No one had the courage to scold me because everyone had come to know that there was a boy next to me. A big dangerous dog is roaming around like a dog, and I have a strange dangerous dog machine. There was a moving winter blanket outside. The dog number 1 had yet to be properly sorted out, but the bloody dog number 1 was not much heavier and more dramatic than the dog. 2 hours ago the Pink Guards had sent a parcel. That parcel was wrapped in very thin brown paper, and all the tape shown on it was pasted on it. There was no address of the sender, only a coin bearing a stamp 85-me1 coin 1. Coin. A line was written in the middle letters of the receiver's column to be sent in bed number 1 for a small boy. At that time this parcel was kept in an empty space in the middle of a single garden. A yellow danger line up to a meter long was drawn all around it. The experts were wearing heavy bar-proof suits. She had a metal detector in her hands, and there was a drop of cold sweat on her face. A loud sound started coming from the detector. The face of the missile leader turned red and he reported to Commander Xiao. There was a very heavy metal crack action inside the parcel, and traces of gunpowder were also clearly visible there. At first glance it seemed that this was a homemade IED. For safety's sake, my advice is to put the dust in the disposal tank and blow it up. The men came to the door of the large glass door of the room. There were men sitting peacefully in the courtyard. Shinny and father was staring at this parcel with cold eyes. This has also gone through the Greek porter and in the name of China. If this was an enemy, then what would be the need to make such a big deal? But to do so would be a direct death sentence. But what if I knew? Inside it, you are a girl sent by the elder brother, and suddenly Papa pronounced the final decision. If by mistake the elder brother had sent inside it, then by destroying it, we will become the biggest sinners. Then what will we do? Who will open it? If it really turns out to be a bomb, then read it. Papa was rubbing his hands in uneasiness. I go, my black pearl has given me the chance to defuse the bomb with a spear. People were cheering. I don't know, when he came out of the door of the drawing room, I had my small tool in my hands. I was not wearing any bomb-proof suit, and I walked slowly towards this dangerously loaded bullet. After that, Le-Ting came and stood next to me. The next thing was that this military dog, which was aware of the danger at that time, was not showing the enemy patrol at all. After this, I did not jump, and he was not even home, but on the contrary, he was blowing his nose, and from his throat a sound was coming out which gave the sound of a wary sheep and an old lady. Shay and Iwan Papa's face turned red due to his mouth. He was about to come running out of the fight, in which my father got near the safety line in 100 seconds. I did not look back. My voice was great. Papa passed by me. The eating is saying that this is not a bomb. If it was a bomb, then he would have attacked me. He is saying that what is inside it has a very sweet smell. I stood in front of the parcel. The boom scowled. The letter stopped breathing. Son, I moved. The sound of the machine's timer is coming from inside it. I put my ear to this brown paper and cried out. This team is not a boom, this is the sound of a tick. In my world, there is a form of sound. The sound of the timer of the boom's clock is 1. The breath is boring, it is cold, it has a strong manual rhythm. I have grown bigger than myself, but this sound is too big. The gap between its gears is decreasing. The strength of the spring is decreasing. It is a very mechanical trap inside it. Something like its own mechanism is felt. I lifted myself above it. Inside it there were more rotating hearts inside it. This is a very old but made from the network of the same era heavenly secret. Lock Thng Lock Sheen Yanzo must be younger than Papa's second scarf. As I thought this kind of lock was a big surprise for the elder brother. He used to say that this is the lock made by our son, which is more than the good electronic pass. This box was smelling like a strange old thing which had the smell of gunpowder from the lighter, and also smelled like a cheap cigarette. Now he could not stop himself from lighting the cigarette. He moved his big head near the box, and like a fool it felt like a stone, and tears started flowing from his eyes in an instant. He recognized the beauty of whom he was the master of the field. This was the same master when he was running in the dense forest behind his master, carrying the box of ammo on his stomach. I caressed the head of Le-Ting. Let's see what has happened for us. There was such silence in the whole forest for the next 20 minutes. The sound of wind was heard. There was a sail on the ground. The marker was sitting there holding this heavy wooden box in his lap. This was not just any ordinary laser. This was a dangerous nose of physics webs and mechanical structure. The sliders of the lift sight were directly connected to the gravity sensor. It could not be sharpened more than 15 degrees. This was the middle heart. There was a gate near by which I could hear the sound of the firing pin inside. My fingers were moving fast like on the blocks of the courtyard. The sound of metal rubbing was giving great relief to the ears. Standing there, I was mentally listening to the sound of the boom. So what kind of magic is going on without any X-ray machine, without any stethoscope? All these Secrets have been revealed to the people just by the feeling of their hands. It was as if there was an automatic sensor attached to the hands of the child. I started pouring it into the lid. I pointed towards a small hole shaped like a box. Here a special magnetic field is needed. The tablet inside it is made of magnet and it is set at the top. The magnetic field is set at the top like all the dusty flowers. I placed a magnet nearby, there is no need for smoke. I made the same mark with my mug. I took out the Philly class merit middle finger given by my father which was burnt in the fire. This was my white cup which I used to hold us near the king. This middle finger is a special cup of nickel yellow, although its magnetic field is a little less. But even if this is the real desire, I took out a little gesture and very gently glued the bauxite of this middle on this small chat. As soon as that middle finger of the middle ship's box came out from the inside. After a while a lot of people started talking as if someone in the middle was talking the back of. The box opened, the box was divided into two halves. A red-colored velvet cap was left on the top of this cap. Some things were kept arranged in a straight line. The half of the clean white cigarette, a brown cigarette, but had been checked and it started getting sealed. Papa recognized it in the same shade. He picked it up with heavy hands. This is my elder brother's favorite cigarette. When we had no money, he used to smoke this. He used to say that this is the era, and that's how we pass the time. There was also a vein-proof lighter which had a very deep mark on its upper body. This mark was from when this lighter had stopped a bullet, and there was also a hairbun tied with a red thread. It was someone else's. His hair was very long and black and his eyes turned red. When the elder brother was going on a mission, the mother had slaughtered him and given him to him, saying that keeping him with him would be the only benefit. The elder brother used to keep all these things with us as well. He filled the throat of father with his life. After this boon, we only got a few pieces of his feathers. We thought that all of them were burnt to rock. Who would have thought that someone had saved them? Who is it who is the one who has saved them on this battlefield of death? After the martyrdom of his elder brother, he risked his life to collect these last signs one by one, and preserved them for 4 years, and on top of that, he also knew the address of Bloody Number 1 and also knew about Chin Chin. There was a piece of fire buried below the human signs. He was longing for this fire a lot. It seemed as if it had been written in the game quickly. He was a hero. I could only get this sign of him. Please give it to his son. Don't forget your father. Shadow, shadow, this is the one who was not Papa. He was such a person who used to publish these 3 times, and there was a giant who was walking in his footsteps. Even after his martyrdom, I did not stop digging in the door. With my small hand I broke the velvet cover of this upper one. There was a designed gap in the lower one. Inside this place there was someone who could shake the world. There were no top secret documents, there was only a very normal rusted metal foot, and along with it there was a half-burned silver foot. Papa came to me. What is this foot? It looks like a car or some kind of machine. I rubbed this heavy piece of iron with my sleeve and cleaned the rust on it. My eyes changed in an instant and became sharp like a spy. The engineer must have seen the sign with a very big hand. This is not a normal path, I pointed out to him that this path is broken. It is a well-placed drain shaft. It is a universal joint, but the style of its break is wrong. It is broken due to metal breakage, not because of some def impact. Father does not understand anything. When I came here I said that this is King Joe. Papa pointed to the site of this path. There was a very small number of steel hidden there. Zeitzi dash pug chuch thush. He saw 4 dash of Zeitzi. This is the power of the industry. I have seen this great steel made in April 85. I turned my head and saw this. King Joe, Papa, this great steel is made of your work. This is the guarantee of life. The distance of this road is 2 lakh kilometers, but looking at the wear and condition of this road, it seems that it must have run more than 5,000 km. It has been torn down, and on top of that the level of carbon in it is more than required. This is low quality material, so that something is left here. This king's father's face is filled with doubt. His factory had supplied road for the vehicles of the entire army, if there is any road left in it. So it was a big crime and a scam, and the bigger thing was this: and where did the fake page come from? On the battlefield of Greece border. I came back and picked up this half-burnt shipping bill. Most of the bill had been burnt and turned into a cow. Only a few words were being read on it. Commander General Logistics Deployment Material Division Receiver 67th West Contin was sent to the manager's office. You are fixated on my name, General Logistics Station Material Division. A man named Zhao Papa's bag. Suddenly he got scared, as if he had been struck by lightning. He looked at my father with surprise. The number 6 is the Deputy Director of Material Deviation in my team. Zhao, I am a dog. This is my old man. He has been loyal to me for the last 10 years. He has worked with me honestly. He is. I didn't even look at him for a single paisa bribe. How could he be a shepherd? I mean, Papa's voice is the same or not? After checking, I will know that such a small pot like the one that should have been in the junkyard. How did it come to the porter? And it was like a shipping buffalo that should have been burnt. Why did the children risk their lives to bring us to this? What does this mean? I took the conversation forward. My small face was streaked like a turtle's. It meant this. Is it that someone was doing something to the cards and changing the original weapons and cards? Security was said and the goods came out, but how did they come out? There were bullets in the trucks and they were destroyed at the barter, because of which innocent people must have lost their lives. It happened at once. It was not just a case of theft, it was a collusion with the enemy. It was a conspiracy. If there had been any disturbance in this, or that of Fangsim backup supply, or their escape vehicle had been kept on the way, then go to the dog's elder brother. I was one of those who had such a situation. I collected all the things in this box back with great care and love. That last symbol was kept in the door of my son's table. There were 5 men in the group of drawers nearby who were standing in a round house. It was so heavy that it was difficult to breathe there. This king was living on the hand of his father. He was not able to do anything on this person. He had trusted this person for 10 years. He was probably the one who was in that dark corner of the world. Who was this cow? Papa put his hand on Papa's shoulder. Keep it safe. Now this is only our guess. This is the soil and it is showing the name of the unknown animal, but maybe someone has asked it. I have to ask the question. Papa was gritting his teeth in anger. What kind of question is this? Let's pick him up and inquire about him. Let's see if his limits are stronger than mine. Shin Ian. If Papa did not stir the urine in the urine, if he was lying, then he would try to avoid it. If we did a diuresis and he felt scared, he would spill the whole matter and we would not be able to investigate further. We would have to catch him red-handed. At that very moment, as I was looking at the wrung-out stool, I raised my head to my chest and asked, Dad, what did he do? He is a big fan of radio and wireless internet. I remember the last time I came to his office, he had a lot of hotshot radios in his office. This is a war that I have a quick look at. Yes, he is very suspicious of wireless. He keeps playing some prank on us with these antennas in his office. On my orders, a very clever look appeared on my face. This was the look that a hunter gives to his prey. He is so curious about the radio, that's why we gave him the best radio in the world, a radio on which he can hear everyone clearly, and we can also hear everything he says clearly. I naturally picked up a paper and a pen and started writing. It was a very dangerous secret. You were watching the Free Connection. hidden return transmission and voice print locking. I said quietly, next time let's open a trap to catch the nauseous. 12 hours before the start of the mission, in the basement of building number 1, a drop of water was spilled on the table in the basement. There was an expensive painted German Elephonen 9-band shot radio. This was no less than a ritual treat for the radio fanatics of this condition. This thing was not available in the market. At that time, all the parts of this expensive machine were open. I was wearing an antiseptic bandage in my hands and took a small tweezer and tried to clean it. Like a doctor on a circuit boat, he was doing a very minute surgery. He was standing on the ground looking at the opened machine and his hands were sweating. He was wondering whether this machine would really work. He had woken up this machine from the French station after seeing the deafening pain, so that I have made this donkey's dogs proud. I continued my work. My face was as thin as a hair, which I removed very neatly. Then I said, "You are fine. I mean, Papa uncle knows how to operate the radio, but how does the system inside it work?" "It is from his side." I pointed towards his paste and said, "I have fitted a single layer hidden circuit in it. It will not do anything, but whoever I see, uncle, will press its button. Or will set some special frequency. So this circuit will be activated, and then it will convert all the sounds in the room into a very uniform signal and hide it in some thread and send it to us." Shin Ian, who was getting confused after hearing all this, hiding the signal in some thread. "Brother, I have to admit that your brain is normal. Anti-bugging scanners only check the middle line, they read it and then punch. I have hidden a bomb of water. I put down my spoon, and again for the same clever purpose, not only for the sake of protection, I have put a special graphic layer on the bottom, which he will call this bottom to rotate the channels. Due to his hands, this whole machine will become a head mic even if he does not turn on the radio. If we send a wave towards his room from a parabolic directional antenna, this machine will be like a glass. Like all the sounds in the room would send us back." I, in a very strange way, took its cover back from the back and wiped off all my fingerprints with a cloth and took a deep breath. If Zhao Goding really turned out to be a traitor, then this machine would be the order of his death. If that day, Zhao Goding was in the grip of the head of the office of the deputy director of Zhang Chung Head Industries, Zhao Goding was in the grip of his huge wooden. He was sitting behind the table and checking files. He was around 40 years old, wore gold-framed sunglasses, and was very smart in appearance. He was considered to be very smart in his work, but he had many professional radios kept in one corner of his table. He had a laptop. The door was opened. This Changzhou walked in with a big smile on his face. Behind him was his secretary, who was in shock. There was a huge premium box. "I like to open it." Chang Zhao motioned to the secretary to put the box on the table. 2 days ago, a friend of mine had bought a very strange thing from a German. I don't know anything about it, so I thought that the right thing should go to the right person, so I took it for you. The cow opened the box. As soon as he looked at the steely funk radio, he was looking for something in his eyes. Ilug Pudgul Bani, and he was looking, longing. Being a radio owner, he knew very well the real value of it. The sheep had his hands on his knees, and he started caressing this radio like a fool, saying, "This is a very expensive thing. This is a top-class item and is not available in the market even after spending a lot of money." These Changs put their hands on his shoulder. This is some kind of formality among us brothers, but while speaking it caused a pain in the Chang's eyes. Even though the cow had wandered, I wanted to have more fun. If the work continued like this, I would get many more things in the future, but in the happiness of the cows, I had not completely forgotten my mind because of being a traitor who had been hidden for years. I used to be very fond of it. While saying thanks in a very tactful manner, I place the thread of the screw on the ball. But I have a bad habit. Whenever a machine comes in my hands, I open it and its system. You were not facing any problem either, not if I opened it like this. There was no frown on the faces of the leopards. They calmly lit a cigarette as per your wish, just smoke it back and don't forget me. I don't understand anything about these stars and feathers. The leopard suddenly opened the back cover like a support. Its eagle-like sharp eyes started scanning the entire circuit port. Confidence was changed and superstition was visible. It was like the regional one, and it was monitoring the extra Aden wire circuit port of the regional one all at once. Until the zoo dogs placed this port under the microscope, it would not catch me from the company's money. Till then it could not catch my mistake. The zoo dogs did a thorough check and did not find anything, so it looked like a Chinese woman and smiled. The look on the face of the leopard suddenly disappeared. My brother, I had given you a chance. If you really turned out to be the same scoundrel who had killed my elder brother, then you would not beg for mercy from me. That very night in bloody number 1 Aden basement, everyone had stopped me. I was sitting in front of the control panel and I was wearing a big headphone. Go guys, I have taken these radios home. What is he doing there also? I pointed towards the line on the screen. He is listening to the radio. He is listening to the radio. The frequency is 105. It is a rare channel. He is testing the radio. But I suddenly straightened up and sat down. One scan frequency is changing. The lines on the screen suddenly started moving. The frequency shifted from the normal radio line to a very low quality channel. He is sending the message that what he is listening to has become dangerous and he has turned to the other one. I wore the phone. There was a very loud sound in my stomach from inside the phone, as if someone was writing a bug. It was like a cow which was sending a message to the moors by plugging an external wire into the radio. Because of my head circuit, whatever message it was sending was hiding all the information from us. He was running away. These crows hit his target with force. His eyes had suddenly turned red, although he was already prepared for this, but after seeing the message of this betrayal in front of his eyes, his body started to collapse with gas. In reality, this is the year 85-year-old. It means that he has fallen down. He was in the left corner on the same express lane. He had sent that junk to our soldiers in the phone. The sending inside the mosque was stopped, and after that there was not a big door, and the sound of the heavy man started coming, and this year it has been 4 years since he died. Still he is not at peace. He has left behind such legitimate equipment to search. If you people will not leave me alive, then I will open all the black pages of this year while speaking to me. After this, the sound of throwing stuff here and there started coming from inside. He was packing his stuff to read the companion paper. And the sounds of burning were also coming. He was sweeping everything. Sure, John stood up from his place in a hurry. He was wearing his military uniform. There was blood in his eyes. He was going to run away. Number 3 of his boys, number 5, sold the entire air. 2 of them, also number 3, were in some black vehicles. Gizon, and they blocked all the roads in front and back. They were wearing black work bat uniforms and 2 wings commanding dozens of special forces. He went towards the field and rubbed his entire body. Inside the command vehicle, Shan Yanzhou and Chang Zhou were sitting. I had gone, but I was giving him technical advice from a distance through wireless radio. Le-Ting was present there. He was wearing the special Cabler bulletproof jacket which I had made for him, and he had night vision goggles and tactical gear around his neck. He was lying near Shan Yanzhou's feet. There was a breath of tension in his chest, and he was making the sound of gurgling sound from his throat. In one sight, Shan Yanzhou said on the microphone, "All the teams pay attention. The stars are in the east flat of the 3rd floor. There is a knock." Because the infrared alarm is on, there was a loud explosion over ROZARD. That boom, there was a loud explosion and the iron door of the third floor was blown straight by me. No one would budge. Special Forces commandos. They searched in this room, but suddenly the drawing room was empty. On the table there was only the same expensive telephone, ready, from which the sound of China China was coming. The door of the bedroom was wide open, and in the air the feet were running towards the flowers. On the form of the door there was a rope hanging from the door. The target of the door was turned. He ran towards the back lane. Sure, Ivan walked loudly. Yes, follow me. Zuo Dong was a prince who had been hiding for the last years. He had not actually jumped from the building, but had used a rope to land on such a box on the second floor and jumped from there and disappeared into the darkness of the back alley. In the sky there was a small ice cube filled with a foreign bank passbook and some expensive gold. Zuo Dong was full of breath, and even his eyes had turned red while he was smiling. How did he look like this? He was crossing the street, which had turned out to be such a sports. He had planned this escape route long ago. There was a wall of 2 meters in front. Only this wall had to be crossed, and there was a very complex area outside where the horses were sleeping. If he had gone and touched any corner, even God would not have been able to spot him. He jumped towards the wall and grabbed the edge of the wall with both his hands. Being a herd agent, his body was still very quick and he threw himself up. I jumped and went over the wall and sat down. This Chang Zhao will never be able to catch me. Zhao Dong looked back and a very sad smile did not appear on his face, but as he jumped down, that was from the darkness at the bottom of the wall, a thin shadow came out like a bullet without any sound. Only 2 glowing green eyes were visible to the animal, and the next thing that came, there was a sharp pain in the calf of his leg. It was the sound of gnashing of teeth in the pulp of the animal, a pain in the mouth of the animal. The Chinese had set Le-Ting on this narrow path of escape. The strength of Le-Ting's jaws was so scary that he directly crushed the entire foot of Zhao Gudong. He did not relinquish his grip. He used the weight of his 40 people and the speed of falling down to grab the neck of Zhao Cao Don and pulled him straight down from a wall 2 meters high. The back of his head sank to the ground and his entire brain was drenched before he could snatch the band from his waist, and there was a smell of blood as Le-Ting started to attack him. Now that blood-sucking cave was about to pounce on him. Its mouth was wide open and its sharp-pointed teeth were stuck on the nape of the neck of the bull. It was the direct death of Le-Ting. A frightened gurgling sound was released and then she stopped herself. Her whole body turned to stone. She didn't even have the courage to move even a single step. He was looking into the eyes of this dog. They were not the eyes of any normal dog. There was only oil in his eyes. As if he had recognized who this scoundrel was, yet many spotlights of headlights fell on him. Xiao Yuan Lihu and this Chang Zhou. Taking long steps, I asked him to go there. He has come. He kicked Xigu Don's fallen son and made him run away, and he caught hold of his cooler and carried him like a dead dog. Now run away and show my elder brother-in-law the money of the Mawadia military. Don't know how much you will pay for this loss. I put a strong corn in Xigu Don's stomach. Xigu Don jumped up and vomited the water. And this Chang Zhou was scared as if alive due to pain. He came walking towards him. He was looking at his 20-year-old companion. He was very strange. This Chang Zhou's voice was very beautiful, but there was an icy coldness in it. He froze for 2 and then it was understood that he had suffered a lot of pain. He said, "So you had doubt from the first that this Chang Zhou is such a bastard. He gifted me a radio. And it bugged me." This patrol of Chang Zhou suddenly pounced on him. He attacked Xigu Don's car with great force. You sent bullets, due to which the transport got damaged on the way. Because of you, the Phoenix became a scoundrel and ran into the forest to eat and drink, and the enemies chased them. He fell down on the ground and started looking at the generals standing around him who were ready to give him something. It is only Alexander who has won. He has not done this among all. I had seen the commission in the same steel coin. I had thought that only 1 or 2 vehicles were damaged. I did not know that people would die, but what do you think? Poison Corpin is still alive. He has given me the news that he is in the Golden Triangle now. He has come forward. I have suddenly moved forward and touched his neck. He has said. Zagu Dong's face had turned red. His veins were swollen due to the heat of the knees, but he was still feeling that he is in the Golden Triangle. Poison Corpin has spread the whole net. Baby has passed day after day. It is the day of death. You people cannot go there. It is the crow of death. Whoever goes there will die. Xinian, when he came forward, he had knives in his hands and was moving towards the lightning. He seemed like a dog, so he has forgotten that he has done his work, so he took the military anti-heat carrier, and I have hundreds of ways by which I can open you. Every single entry of this web will spoil everyone. This milk uncle has only a 1-day-old child. Devil said to me. He went near the mother and started looking at this rerun star mother. He was in the middle of Golden Triangle. He said that it was a place where no one walked because of the mafia, and then it was the hell of Lotus. 5 days later, Shay Wan took a deep breath. If we officially asked for a mission to cross the border, it would take at least a week in paperwork. We don't have time. He modified me so that he threw the sniper rifle forcefully on the table, and then it was official. Now I am going on a holiday in Greece. I am going to Greece and am carrying a gun with me for my safety. Lizayan kept his eyes on me and wiping it said, I will not go. I will give him urine in the lock, and also, it is very dangerous to kill the nose. It is necessary to have a doctor there. I will be taking with me the best anti-venom and my surgery stick. This is Chang Zhou, who took out a map in the luggage and weapons compartment. I will go to China. I have some suspicious routes. We will give you a lot of information by checking and asking. Xinian, who was doing a satellite phone, leave the intelligence work to me. I have contacted my brothers there. I will accept the decision of 5 people at once. All the roads went to the sky. All the official searches went to the sky when the brother's life is in danger. No matter what kind of mud it is, if it crawls there and creates a storm, even then a very small but sudden sound will go into the desert.